So this is how to create a form with a required password of some sort so that if you are doing something that needs to be voted on anonymously, you can create this form and then pass out some type of passwords anonymously. So the first thing you need to do is make sure you're in your Google Drive, and you can create a folder which will then live these forms, or this form would live inside the folder. So the first thing you need to do is click New after you go to drive.google.com, and then you can create a folder. But for this purpose, I'm just going to go straight to More under the New button and Google Forms. Once you've opened a new form, first thing you need to do is title it. Okay. All right, so we're going to do this is a, okay. So once you title it, if by default, once you click over here, it will put those to be the same, and of course you can rename that. All right, so the first step you want to do is your first question is going to usually be your password. And you need to make this type of question. If you'll click here, it's called a response validation. By clicking on those three little buttons, it's going to make you have a response validation. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is determine what type of response. Do you want this to be a number? Do you want it to be a text, a certain length, or a regular expression? So this length could mean that if you're giving them an essay, of course, you could have them have more than, which I know you're not going to do on an election form, but it had to be over 200 words or 200 characters. But for this purpose, we're going to go to number, and we want the number to be between two different numbers. So if I were to hand out, for this purpose, a site base, if I were to hand out random passwords, I may say that I want to use the numbers between 200 and 320. So that for this form, nobody really knows where the numbers start and where it necessarily ends. And here is where our custom error text. So, okay. Now, always want to, whenever you're doing something with a password, you want to make sure that it is required. Now, I like to allow people who do not know what is, it's a form that's requiring a password, for them to enter into it, I like to make it a second section. So by clicking this button, you're adding the next section. And of course, we would want, as soon as they pass this section, to be able to go on to this section. So we'd want it to continue to this next section. All right, and so all right, vote for one below, maybe. All right. So we would, of course, not, we would add, and this is the section title, so we would add a question by putting the question, and then we would want this to be multiple choice. And okay, or maybe up here for your section title. So we could site base 2017, 2019. Okay, and then you could have 1, 2, and person 3. Of course, we would want this to be required as well. Okay, so once we've set up this form and we have them vote, we need to make sure that our settings are proper for this type of form. We want to make sure that it's restricted to those in McCracken County domain and limit one response. So this still keeps it anonymous. This actually is our second layer of anonymity. And so now it's only people that have the link and they're logged into a McCracken County domain, and that I can only have one response. So in the presentation, once they click submit, your vote has been recorded. All right, so you click save once you're complete with that. All right, so now once we've created that, we need to make sure always that you are going to click responses and then create your spreadsheet. And all you do is click create. This way I can go into the spreadsheet and then filter the spreadsheet to see, especially if I'm going to use numbers for my password. But to filter this, you would select your column B, and there'll be a little arrow down here, and then you would want to sort it A to Z, and then that way I can look through and make sure that I did not have multiple passwords used as well. So back to the form, now I need to send that out and run it. I like to run it through Bitly, which allows me to see actually how many people clicked on my link versus how many people actually voted. And then that way I can kind of see if, and also helps to make my voting URL rememberable. So once I click send, then I'll click the link button. I will click on the link, which automatically will select it. And you can right click copy, or you can click Command C, or you can also click copy. And then I need to jump over to a new tab and say Bitly. Once you've created an account with Bitly and you've saved that, then it will automatically log you into your Bitly account. So because I have that link on my clipboard, I can just click Create Bitlink, paste that long URL there, add a title, and then I like to customize it here. So this will only allow it to be something that has not been used before. So, whoops. You double click on it and test. Okay, and then you click save. And that's it. So once that is completed, you then have your link, and then you can send it out. I hope this helps. Get involved with Kentucky Go Digital. Attend regional events, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or follow us on Twitter.